Hello and welcome. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Let's talk about the cryptocurrency news. Today, we're going to look at crypto versus Wells Fargo. We're going to talk about worldwide Bitcoin ATMs, and we're going to take a look at a Bitcoin price prediction that is on track. So this is going to be a great episode. Hang on all the way to the end. I think you're going to love it. So, can we get 99 likes on this video? Smash the like button. It helps us tremendously. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion. So, anti-crypto bank Wells Fargo is involved in billion-dollar scandals. So, it's really kind of funny. Here's Wells Fargo being anti-cryptocurrency. In fact, last year, Wells Fargo ceased to allow its customers to buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, citing high volatility and risks to its customers. Man, am I glad Wells Fargo is looking out for their customers. Oh, but wait, there's more. However, now the bank must pay over $3 billion for fake account scandal and offering negligent investment advice. So who's the real risk here? I thought that article was quite interesting. Wells Fargo has to pay $3 billion to settle charges related to fake account scandal. The SEC's charge came only several days after Wells Fargo reached the culmination of its much bigger scandal related to fake accounts. On February 21, the U.S. Department of Justice announced that the bank had agreed to pay $3 billion to settle criminal charges and a civil action related to the infamous fake account scandal. The bank has mistreated its clients for over 14 years by opening accounts without their consent and knowledge. So it's quite interesting to run across an article that talks about Wells Fargo refusing to let people purchase cryptocurrency with their money, and yet they were doing things that were inappropriate with people's money to the point of having to settle a $3 billion criminal charges and civil actions. Quite amazing. The case illustrates a complete failure of leadership at multiple levels within the bank. Wells Fargo traded its hard-earned reputation for short-term profits and harmed untold number of customers along the way. And so just thought that was quite interesting. So now, the ultimate guide on how to use a Bitcoin ATM in 2020. If you're interested in using an ATM to quickly purchase out or buy Bitcoins, there are several ways in which you can execute BTC transactions, but one of the fastest is by using an ATM. In today's guide, we will be explaining how to use a Bitcoin ATM. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about all of the information in here about how this actually works, but I will leave the link in the comments of the YouTube channel. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, click the link in the lower right-hand corner that will take you to the YouTube webpage for this video. And in the comments, you'll find a link to this article if you want to dig into this article deeper. But it talks about the different types of ATMs. It talks about the fees and limits of the ATMs. Now this I thought was interesting. I had no idea there were this many different companies that are building Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency ATMs around the world, but that's quite a long list. Now, all of these ATMs do offer Bitcoin, and many of them offer additional cryptocurrencies. And so each one is unique, and you literally have to find the physical ATM to know what cryptocurrencies it offers. Because while Robocon may be building, 4 different models of their ATMs, they can even build them and set them up differently, whereas the same RoboCoin in one location offers these 5 cryptocurrencies, but in a different location it offers 15. And so even if you're familiar with a specific Bitcoin ATM in different locations, it's possible that it'll offer a different list of cryptocurrencies. And finally, there are nearly 7,000 Bitcoin ATMs in the world, with Genesis Coin and General Bytes holding the top positions for the most popular providers. There are several sites that you can use to locate Bitcoin ATMs, such as Coin ATM Trader, Bitcoin ATM Map, and Bitcoin Depot. Features all the Bitcoin ATMs in the United States and other locations around the world. And so this map here kind of shows some of the different locations of ATMs. When I was traveling to Canada, I saw several Bitcoin ATMs in different shops when I was in a project in Canada doing some computer software engineering. And so I thought it was fascinating when I was finding Bitcoin ATMs in a number of different locations throughout Canada. And then I live in Texas, and I've seen various machines at some of the grocery stores that allow you to buy and sell Bitcoin right at the grocery store. And so we're entering a very unique time, and it's a very unique world. If you want to transact with a Bitcoin ATM, be sure to click the button to go to our YouTube channel and then look up this article. So kind of an interesting deal. Bitcoin price avoids $8,200 to mirror the stock to flow creators forecast. And so Bitcoin may have shed 11% in a week in the last week, but it is actually performing exactly like one of the industry's most famous analysts predicted. In a tweet on March 1, Plan B creator, the creator of the well-known stock-to-flow Bitcoin price forecasting model, said that around 8,500 BTC/USD was wholly on schedule, completely on schedule. And so, when we saw that big price drop last week, when it initially started coming down, I wasn't too concerned. But when the price dropped below the $8,000 price point and then started going down into the $8,400 price point, the thought did cross my mind. Is this kind of expected behavior at this point in time just before the halving for Bitcoin? But I didn't actually drill into it and look it up until I saw this article. In February, Plan B predicted that Bitcoin might lose its 200-day moving average support, which is exactly what it did last week. Bitcoin dropped below the 200-day moving average, which was not a good sign. It had just passed a golden cross within a couple of weeks. And a golden cross is when the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average cross, and the price is above both of them. But Bitcoin fell below the 50 and then fell below the 200. And it was when Bitcoin fell below the 200 that I started wondering, is this really expected? Is this really normal for approaching the halving? But I was glad I found this article, and I really wanted to share it with everybody on the channel, because ultimately it would stay above $8,200 according to Plan B. While the price forecast is a separate entity, stock to flow currently calls for an average of around $8,650 for Bitcoin prior to its May 2020 block reward halving. And so this chart here is the Plan B chart for Bitcoin pricing. And let's take a closer look at it. I blew it up on this next tab here. And so the first thing we notice down along the bottom is the price, 2010, 2012, 2014, all the way to this year at 2020. And then all the way, he goes forward into 2030. So this final bar here is 2030. Now, this is a logarithmic scale, and so that's why we see a price of around below a penny. Here's a penny, here's 10 cents, here's a dollar, here's $10. And so here's $1,000. Here's $1,000 price for Bitcoin, and here's the 10,000. So the red dots we can see is the actual price of Bitcoin, and so we We saw it peak in 2017 with a new all-time high of $20,000. And you can see how that peak is significantly above all of these different shades of blue. And so that was the peak high price of $20,000. And then it dropped down into the $3,000 range. And then it climbed up to $14,000 during 2019. And then since it dropped just before the beginning of the year, in December of 2019, the price dropped again, and then it started climbing, and this is where we're at today. And so you can see that the current price is well within the blue lines, and this darker line is what's supposed to be the average price. And so we're still floating right above the average price. And you can see that sometime after the halvening, that the expected price of Bitcoin does go up, according to this chart, to around $100,000. Now we can see, based off of the last halvening, here's where the halvening actually happened. And so it took the price of Bitcoin a while for it to actually catch up with Plan B's prediction. But that's happened every halvening. Here's the previous halvening. Here's the previous halvening. And you can see that it took Bitcoin a while for it to actually catch up. And so it takes typically about 12 to 18 months after the halvening for the price to catch up with the new price prediction. And so if this holds true, then somewhere around 12 to 18 months after the next halvening, Bitcoin will run somewhere around an average of about $100,000 per Bitcoin. So time will tell. History is not always a good indicator of the future, but we can learn from those patterns. And even if Bitcoin doesn't reach the $100,000 price, if it comes anywhere in this vicinity, anywhere in these blue lines, it will have done very, very well. Much better than any other asset, investment, or stock that I'm aware of. And so the next 18 to 24 months should be quite exciting in the cryptocurrency industry. And I hope that you are along for the ride. Anyway, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. So I hope you've enjoyed the show. How can I be of service to you? Do you have questions I didn't answer? Do you disagree with anything that I said? Look, you know things I don't know. I know things that you don't know. And when we share what we know together, we're going to grow smarter together. I want to grow smarter together with you. Leave your polite disagreements down below. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, like, subscribe, and hodl. And I hope that you have a fantastic day.